In this video, down here in the Nerd Bunker, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the journey and the destination. Which one's more important? And does it even matter? So I'm thinking about changing things up a little bit, so I'm trying something a little different. Today's video is going to be talking about the hobby, and this is kind of where I do my hobby and stuff, so I figured I might as well try to film here. Also, it's really hot, and the AC's not working at the studio, and it's much cooler down here in the basement, and a whole host of things. So you've probably heard that old chestnut about, it's not the destination, it's the journey that's important, or the journey is greater than the destination, or whatever. There's a lot of different permutations on that phrase, and generally, it's not actually talking about actual journeying to an actual destination. I mean, there are people that believe very strongly that it's the journey instead of where you're trying to get to. So they like to take trains maybe instead of fly, or they like to, drive through the back roads and find all the diners and dives and whatever like that. Personally, if I'm trying to get to, California, I would like to I want there to be a portal like outside my house that I walk through and now I'm in California. I don't like travel, frankly. But anyway, everybody's got different ideas. But really what the saying is not about actually traveling around on the surface of the planet. It's more about something metaphysical, I guess. As it relates to our hobby, the journey is generally the building and the painting and the stuff that I do down here, whereas the destination is the finished model. And different people, like different parts of that kind of two-part thing. I really like, obviously, having finished models, and I like to paint in a way that gets them done generally a little bit quicker. But I do really enjoy the process as well. Some people really love having the models and hate the process. And in those situations, there's nothing wrong with either of these, by the way. But in those situations, you generally either pay somebody to paint your stuff through some sort of commission service, or potentially what you do is you play games like Star Wars X-Wing, or maybe even HeroClix or something like that, to have models that are, some of them painted relatively well, and HeroClix maybe not so much. But you don't have to worry about that. You just go, okay, here it is, boom, we're done, and I can start playing. But again, like I said, neither is wrong, neither is right. They're just different ways to look at it from a different angle. So for those of us who are interested in both the journey and the destination, there are still within that group of people a lot of differing camps. The question becomes, okay, so you're doing this, is the destination actually just painted models? And if so, then that really kind of informs your journey. Maybe you decide to do a lot of kind of speed painting techniques because you're just trying to get stuff that looks pretty good on the table. And so that changes how you do things. Whereas if you're like, I really want to get stuff on the table, but you take forever and you put tons and tons and tons of work in it, and it maybe doesn't necessarily look as good as you'd like or whatever, that kind of can dissuade you from wanting to do the journey to get to the destination. So it's important to understand not just like how you're going to handle the journey, but is a painted model really actually the destination in your particular circumstance? In some situations, the destination is not even the painted model. It's actually getting better or faster at painting. There are plenty of folks out there who paint just to try to get better because they want to maybe just improve themselves in general, or enter a competition or something like that, or they want to be able to paint faster. I've talked in the past about the difference between painting faster and painting better, and how sometimes you paint for a while and then eventually you get to a plateau where you don't get a lot better and then you get faster. Pachow, you should check that one out. But the idea behind the whole thing is that not so much, oh, good, look, I got finished models. It's more like, oh, good, I'm better than I was last year, or I'm better than I was 6 months ago. And at that point, the painted models are basically a byproduct. They're not the destination. Getting good, getting better, whatever is the destination. And the fact that some models end up coming out of that are finished is just, a bonus. And then if you're anything like me, very frequently you are painting for fun. You are painting for stress relief. You are painting because you find it to be meditative. When I come down here and sit, frankly, in front of this big mess of a hobby table, it kind of calms me, and I put on some headphones. My headphones are over there hanging off of this thing, and I listen to audiobook, listen to podcasts, anything along those lines. And it really helps to kind of just make everything else sort of go away for a little while. And I really enjoy that. And I think it's just as important as it is to get better at painting and to do whatever. Remember, not every hobby is something that you have to excel at. It's important to understand that very frequently a hobby is something that you just enjoy doing, And to be perfectly frank, if you do it long enough, even without trying somewhat, you will generally get at least a little bit better or a little bit faster. And then in that situation, sitting down and spending time and relieving stress and having a good time, listening to some tunes, maybe whatever, that becomes the destination. And then getting better, getting faster, and hopefully eventually getting better miniatures or finished miniatures is gravy. Understanding what you expect from your journey and your destination is incredibly important to keep you motivated and on the road, as it were. If you don't know where you're going, it's really, really hard to get there. And if you know that your destination is not even necessarily finished stuff, again, there are plenty of people like myself who like to paint to relieve stress. And, I like to finish things, but not everybody does. So the destination is the enjoyment of doing it. And again, they'll hopefully gain some skill, and maybe eventually they'll even finish some stuff. But that doesn't really concern them. What really drives them is the enjoyment of doing it. So think about it. What is your hobby destination? Is it just trying to get models finished? Is it trying to get better at painting, get faster at painting? Or is it just trying to enjoy yourself, have a good time, and relieve some stress? And are you on the right path to get to that destination? Sometimes the path is easy. Sometimes the traveling is all green lights and gas stations every 15 miles. But other times when things aren't going well, you sometimes have to sit down and figure out, am I actually going to the right place? Have I got the destination figured out?